Formula One has hosted many Grand Prix at various racing circuits. However, in recent years, street tracks have been on the rise. Las Vegas, Baku, Singapore have all been recent additions to the calendar. Now, with the Madrid street circuit being proposed, it got me wondering, is a London street track even possible? I will also be making my own London street track at the end, so stay tuned as I'll be going over the whole track, and it might be the best street track ever created. Also, just do us a favour, go down and subscribe, please. Please? Of course, it isn't easy setting up a Grand Prix. You can't just wag your finger around and say, oh, let's put a track there. There's obviously going to be some issues, whether it's the residents, cost, the time to create the track. It's also crazy to me that the UK, with such a big fan base for F1, only has one race in the whole calendar. Surely adding another one would help the sport out. The racing at Silverstone is quite literally the best there is. The atmosphere is also quite good. Maybe the Verstappen army tops it. It doesn't matter who you are, where you're from, and who you support. You can't deny that Silverstone isn't one of the best races on the calendar. So adding another Grand Prix in England, is there something wrong with that? The States have 3 Grand Prix, the Middle East have 4. Just give us another one. It sucks, but F1's a global marketing platform. So that's just the way it is. Let's not forget that London has hosted street races, but Formula One requires specific track dimensions, safety standards, and where are all the people going to stand? I mean, Formula E really doesn't have any fans. But let's not forget, all of the roads that the races raced on would have to be redone. London is a historical city, and I don't think they'd let that happen. Just like Las Vegas, London has tourists, and shutting down the capital for a whole year would be detrimental for most people living in central London. The residents really wouldn't be happy. They wouldn't be able to get to work, wouldn't be able to travel, and the place would be ugly. I mean, trees were being cut down in Las Vegas, literal deforestation, and I really don't see that happening in London. In recent years, London has also been implementing low emission zones, so creating a track, a racetrack, and a Formula One race in the heart of London would be counterintuitive. London would basically be closed down for a whole year, and would they recover? And even if they would recover, do we need another street circuit? Madrid has just been proposed, and adding another one on top of that, is it really necessary? Although street circuits do provide thrilling, entertaining experiences, overtakes are always impressive, the barriers are close, and the race really tests the driver's ability, patience, and speed. But is it all necessary for another street race? Wouldn't we just rather go back to the good old tracks? A London race would also contribute to the appeal of Formula One. A lot of F1 fans are British, so obviously, commercially, race would do well. Yes. London, in all of its glory, could be showcased around the world. But do people watch F1 for that reason? I don't think so. Also, street tracks are often criticised for a lack of overtaking opportunities. Monaco, Singapore, Baku, literally just to name a few. There's rarely an overtake happening, which can put fans off. In 2023, Monaco only had 22 overtakes, which is the highest since 2011. I'm not saying a London Grand Prix would be exactly the same as Monaco, but it's a street track, and not a lot of overtakes happen on street tracks. All of this added with a sprinkle of danger. The barriers are close, and there's really no room for error. I mean, look what happened to Mick Schumacher in 2022 around Jeddah. So let's summarise the pros and cons of a London Grand Prix. On one hand, we have the thrill, the spectacle, and the potential economic boost. On the other hand, road closures, safety concerns, and of course, the king would have to be convinced. But what actually makes a good street track? A track where you can overtake, there's long straights, a diverse variety of corners. All of this implemented into one track is hard to do on a normal racetrack, and in a street track where pretty much the road's chosen for you seems impossible. So in typical fashion, I'm going to try and solve all of these issues. I've mocked up a track, and this is what it looks like. Looks pretty good, right? It's 5.7 kilometers long, only 20 meters shorter than Silverstone, has 16 corners as opposed to Silverstone's 18, which can provide for great racing. Every track needs some elevation as well, and this track has 17 meters of it, similar to Bahrain. Of course, it's not going to be a track that's famous for its elevation change like Spa, but at least we have some, stopping it from looking like an absolute pancake. It's safe to assume that we'd be getting around 52 laps of racing, as that's what Silverstone gets. Another thing that's important with tracks is the local climate. You can't really race around this track during the winter, as the temperature's just not high enough. Tires will be too cold and it'll be unraceable. I think a safe place to put it on the track would be around the mid-section point, near Silverstone, but, you know, not next to Silverstone. Now, these are the corners where overtakes might happen the most, but it's not just close dive bombs that might happen on this track. There's obviously maybe 2, 3, 4 DRS straights to help keep the racing close. There's a huge variety of corners, from chicanes, 90 degrees corners, high-speed right-handers and left-handers, and I think the most important part of every street track is the scenery and the landmarks. We pass Big Ben, Buckingham Palace, Trafalgar Square, just to name a few, and there's, you know, more things along the way. This is a quick voiceover on the track. We started this straight, we take a couple turns past Big Ben, and then we go down this awfully long straight, where we approach a 90-degree corner right, and we keep on following this until there's a hairpin left. Follow this straight around Trafalgar Square, and then take an 80 degrees right. Follow this straight again until Piccadilly Circus, where there's a little chicane which you have to maneuver past, and then you go down the back straight. This is the longest straight you have to go down, and this takes you all the way to the roundabout, which is here. You have to go up, and then there's a roundabout, a couple high-speed corners, and then you take a right. This is leading to the Buckingham Palace, and then there's a couple high-speed corners here, right and left, and then back down the straight, and that's pretty much it. Now, do I think this track is possible? No, because of all the closures that would have to happen. A track outside the King's House, a track next to Big Ben. I don't think it's realistic, but we can all dream, right? If you've enjoyed this video, subscribe, please. Please subscribe. And like the video. That's it. See ya.